Did you know that in the age of sailing ships, women were considered bad luck at sea? Yep, seriously. They were thought to distract sailors and even anger the gods of the ocean. But hold on, there's a lot more to this story, and some of it might surprise you. Stick around, because today we're diving into the fascinating and sometimes bizarre history of why women were seen as a curse aboard ships. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but why were women considered such a jinx on the high seas? Well, picture this. You're a sailor hundreds of years ago. Your life depends on the unpredictable ocean, and superstitions are rampant. The common belief was that women were too delicate for the tough life of a sailor. They couldn't haul ropes or climb rigging like the men. Plus, their presence might tempt sailors away from their duties, leading to fights, jealousy, and overall bad vibes. And if the crew wasn't working together, the sea gods wouldn't be happy. Think storms, rough seas, and maybe even a shipwreck. Yikes. Let's take a look at a real-life example of how these superstitions could have disastrous consequences. Back in 1379, a nobleman named Sir John Arundel was sailing to support the Duke of Brittany. He made a terrible decision. He raided a convent and took some of the nuns with him on board. Surprise! The fleet got caught in some seriously bad storms. The crew panicked, blaming the women, and well, let's just say they didn't make it to their destination. So, you might be thinking, case closed, right? Women were just trouble at sea. Not so fast. There's a mind-boggling twist to this tale. While women were seen as bad luck, they were also believed to be the best navigators. Crazy, right? And get this, a naked woman on board was actually considered good luck. That's why many ships had figureheads of bare-breasted women. It was thought their open eyes would guide the ship, and their nudity would appease those moody sea gods. Even Pliny the Elder, a Roman scholar, wrote about the power of female nudity to calm storms. I'm not sure how scientifically accurate that is, but hey, it's a fascinating part of the story. So, what happened? How did we move from these beliefs to a world where women are captains, sailors, and oceanographers? Well, as science and rational thinking gained ground, those old superstitions started to fade. Women proved their capabilities time and time again, and thank goodness for that. Have you ever heard any other seafaring superstitions? Or maybe you've got a story about a woman who defied the odds and became a maritime legend. Share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. But let's not just scratch the surface. Some historians believe there's more to this than just superstition. Could there have been practical reasons behind this belief? Absolutely. Think about it. Life on a ship was tough, cramped quarters, limited resources, and constant danger. Adding women to the mix could have strained those resources even further. Plus, in those times, women were often seen as the property of their husbands or fathers. Their presence could have led to conflicts and even violence among the crew. But wait, there's another layer to this onion. In some cultures, ships were seen as feminine entities. Sailors would even refer to their vessels as she. The idea of bringing another woman on board might have been seen as a challenge to the ship's own spirit, or even an invitation for jealousy. Remember those figureheads we talked about? They're a perfect example of how these beliefs could contradict each other. On one hand, women were bad luck, but on the other hand, their image was used to protect the ship. It's like a weird maritime paradox. Some scholars believe this duality stems from ancient mythology. Many sea goddesses were powerful and unpredictable, just like the ocean itself. A figurehead could be seen as a way to appease these goddesses, offering them a symbolic offering of respect and perhaps even a little fear. So, what can we learn from all of this? Well, for starters, it's a reminder that even the most bizarre beliefs often have roots in cultural and historical context. It also shows us how far we've come in terms of gender equality and scientific understanding. But here's a question for you. Do you think any of these old superstitions still linger in modern seafaring culture? Or maybe you've heard of other maritime traditions that seem strange to us landlubbers? Let us know in the comments below. We're always up for a good nautical discussion. Speaking of goddesses, let's not forget the sirens of Greek mythology. These enchanting creatures lured sailors to their doom with their irresistible songs. Could these myths have fueled the idea that women were dangerous distractions at sea? It's certainly possible. The idea of a beautiful woman leading a ship astray has a timeless appeal, even if it's rooted in fear and mistrust. And speaking of distractions, have you ever heard of the term loose cannon? It actually comes from naval warfare. A loose cannon was a real danger on a ship. It could roll around the deck, smashing into anything in its path. Some historians suggest that women were seen as a similar kind of threat, potentially causing chaos and disrupting the order on board. But let's not just focus on the negative. Interestingly, there were also plenty of superstitions about what could bring good luck to a ship. For example, having a black cat on board was considered a good omen. Some sailors even believed that throwing old shoes overboard would appease the gods and ensure a safe journey. And in some cultures, a baby born at sea was seen as the ultimate lucky charm. Now I know what you're thinking. These are just old wives' tales, right? Well, yes and no. While we no longer throw women overboard, thank goodness, some of these superstitions have left their mark on modern language and culture. For example, we still say red sky at night, sailor's delight, to predict good weather. And the phrase son of a gun actually comes from the practice of women visiting ships for ahem, comfort. If a child was born at sea, they might be referred to as a son of a gun. But here's a question for you. Have you ever encountered any maritime superstitions in your own life? Maybe you've seen a sailor with a lucky charm or heard a seafaring saying that made you scratch your head. Share your stories in the comments below. We'd love to hear how these traditions continue to shape our relationship with the ocean. As we sail away from this topic, let's remember that the sea has always been a source of both wonder and fear. And while some of these superstitions may seem silly to us now, they offer a fascinating glimpse into the minds of those who dared to venture out onto the vast unknown. If you enjoyed this voyage through maritime history, don't forget to give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and hit that notification bell so you won't miss any of our future expeditions. Until next time, may your seas be calm and your skies be clear.